She's dying. Dr. Cameron Reed's hands move without pause, sealing the 7-year-old's punctured lung as plasma fire lights up the darkness outside. Dark hair matted with sweat, stubborn chin refusing to give up, just like Emma. Just like the day medical supplies were delayed by bureaucratic inspections while her daughter flatlined. Cam pushes harder. Not this time. Vital signs stabilizing, she reports. Around her, the medical bay of the Hippocrates rocks with turbulence, but her hands remain steady. That's what separates doctors from butchers' surgical precision under pressure. Doc, we've got scanner sweeps lighting us up. Lieutenant Torres calls from the bridge. Her voice carries that edge of someone whose vital signs are spiking. Vex Tani patrol cruisers. Weapons charged. Cam glances at the tactical display while adjusting her patient's IV drip. 3 alien ships, weapons hot but not locked. Standard border patrol. Elevated blood pressure but no immediate cardiac event. Vital signs on the other ships? Nightingale reports stable across all refugee compartments. Mercy shows thermal elevation in vaccine storage doses cooking slowly. Cam's pulse quickens. 200,000 doses slowly cooking to death. 50,000 lives reduced to expensive saline because bureaucrats need their security theater. Time to checkpoint? 18 minutes at current velocity. The girl's breathing steadies. Cam allows herself 1 heartbeat of satisfaction before proximity alarms flatline across the board. The Vextani commander materializes on screen, tall, chitinous, compound eyes, shifting through emotional spectrums. His briefing file lists Sector Commander Vextar, former combat medic turned border security. That explains the methodical approach. His eyes show deep amber, elevated stress indicators, mixed with duty-like pre-surgical anxiety. Human vessels, halt for immediate inspection. Each word emerges with surgical precision. Medical transponders noted, but recent smuggling operations require full diagnostic protocols. Cam steps onto the bridge, surgical gloves still stained red. Commander Vextar. Doctor. Cameron Reed, Terran Medical Corps. We're transporting relief supplies to New Hebron under Galactic Aid Accords. Accords require compliance with local security measures. Open cargo bays for scanning. Negative. The word comes out sharp as a scalpel cut. Opening those bays breaks thermal barriers. Vaccine degradation jumps to 70% within minutes. I won't let 50,000 patients die for your security theater. Vextar's eyes shift to deep crimson fight-or-flight response activated. His mandibles click in rhythmic patterns. Dr. Reed, your reputation for directness precedes you. But smugglers have used medical transponders to run weapons. Your tissue repair techniques are unconventional. How do I verify healing intent? Before Cam can respond, Torres's voice cuts through like a bone saw. Contact! 4 ships dropping out of hyperspace, broadcasting human military codes. On the tactical display, Cam recognizes modified weapon signatures first, then the hull scarring pattern. Finally, the tactical formation, aggressive but surgical, designed to disable rather than destroy. Her mouth goes dry. Well, the voice fills the bridge like septic infection. Little Cam Reed. The face that appears on screen makes 18 years collapse into surgical immediacy. Colonel Marcus Kane granite features. Steel grey eyes that used to look at her with pride before they learned to measure her failures. Marcus. She keeps her voice clinical. Medical reports indicated you were KIA on Hadrian. Greatly exaggerated. Turns out my particular bedside manner was still needed. His smile has no warmth, all sharp edges and infected wounds. Private sector pays better than government work. Kane's 3 escort ships spread into attack formation with textbook precision. These aren't pirates playing soldier. These are surgeons who've chosen to become carcinogens. You want the vaccines. Not a question. A diagnosis. Smart as ever. Doc, those doses are worth more than most planets' annual budgets. Amazing what desperate colonies pay when their kids are dying. Kane leans forward, voice dropping to that intimate tone he'd used during their worst field surgeries. Remember Hadrian Cam? You chose to evacuate alien civilians while our own people bled out waiting for supplies. How'd that work out for your Emma? The surgical suite goes cold around her. Emma, dead because medical transports were delayed by inspections, while Cam was saving strangers. Vex-Tar's mandibles click rapidly. Systemic stress response. Dr. Reed, explain this. Are these your military escorts? Negative, Commander. These are deserters. War criminals. Cam turns to face the alien directly, noting his eyes shifting to confused orange. They're here to steal medical supplies and sell them to colonies whose children are dying. Kane's laugh sounds like breaking ribs. Still trying to save everyone, Cam? Even the bugs who were charging weapons to blast you into component atoms? His expression shifts to mock concern. Tell me, Doc, when those alien kids on Kepler needed medicine, where were you? Oh, right. Treating humans. When human kids needed you, where were you? Treating aliens. See the pattern? The situation spreads like systemic infection. Vex-Tar, faced with apparent human coordination in his space, begins charging weapons. Kane's ships move into optimal firing positions. Cam finds herself caught between two forces, each convinced the other represents terminal prognosis. All ships, medical emergency protocols, she announces on Convoy frequency. This is not a drill. Space erupts into violence, like traumatic surgery without anesthesia. Kane's flagship, the Reaper's Edge, hammers Vex-Tar's command ship with military-grade plasma, while launching fighters toward the medical convoy. The Vexitani respond with bioluminescent pulse fire that burns like cauterized arteries against hull plating. Cam's convoy transforms with practiced efficiency. Torres diagnostic arrays online target their engines, not their crews. The Hippocrates X-ray emitters, designed for deep tissue imaging, became electromagnetic pulse weapons that fry fighter electronics with surgical precision. Dr. Patel, release the diagnostic swarm. From the Nightingale, hundreds of patient-tracking drones pour out like white blood cells, their sensors hunting fighter craft with relentless efficiency. The Mercy activates containment protocols, its electromagnetic fields designed to isolate infectious patients, creating an impenetrable barrier around the vaccine storage. Cam coordinates like she's running a trauma bay during mass casualties. Primary target, Kane's cruiser. Secondary, demonstrate non-hostile intent to Vex-Tani forces. Tertiary, maintain vaccine viability. Kane's voice crackles through static. Impressive as always, Doc, but you're still thinking like a healer instead of a realist. That's gonna get your people killed, just like Emma. A pirate fighter strafes the Nightingale, punching holes in refugee compartments. Through emergency channels, Cam hears children screaming the same sound that haunted her dreams after Emma's funeral. That's enough. Her voice goes clinical, cold as a morgue. Torres, combat surgery protocols. We're excising this malignancy. The Hippocrates moves through battle like a precision instrument. Every medical system becomes surgical. Radiation therapy emitters focus lethal beams. MRI generators create electromagnetic pulses that fry electronics. Automated surgical suites coordinate defensive fire with inhuman accuracy. But the Vex-Tani are dying. Vex-Tar's command ship, caught between Kane's assault and its duty to defend the border, begins venting atmosphere in crystalline streams like arterial bleeding in vacuum. Vex-Tani flagship reports systemic failure. Torres announces, 300 civilians aboard, including families. Cam watches the tactical display, training automatically calculating survival odds. 5 minutes until total system failure. The alien ship won't survive another direct assault. Kane's face fills the screen again, grinning like a surgeon who enjoys the cutting. Decision time, Cam. Your precious vaccines or the bugs shooting at you can't save both. His voice drops to that intimate tone reserved for terminal diagnoses. Choose carefully. Last time you played Universal Savior, Emma paid the price. Cam stares at the display showing both the dying alien ship and the convoy carrying hope for 50,000 plague victims. In her peripheral vision, Torres watches her, waiting for orders. Waiting for her to choose between patients again. Emma's face flashes pale, fevered, calling for Mummy while Cam was light years away, treating alien refugees whose transport had been delayed by the same security protocols now threatening her vaccines. All hands. Emergency triage procedure. Her voice carries surgical authority born from years of impossible choices. We're implementing field protocols. She turns to Torres. Put us between that command ship and Kane's guns. Emergency power to forward shields. Torres's vital signs spike. Doc, that'll expose us to… I know exactly what it'll do, Lieutenant. Execute immediately. The Hippocrates slides between the burning alien vessel and Kane's weapons, taking the full fury of his assault. The ship shudders under impact, but forward shields hold. Barely. Cam, what the hell are you doing? Kane's voice carries genuine confusion, almost hurt. Those aliens were trying to kill you, just like the ones you saved instead of protecting Emma. They were defending their people. You're murdering children. Cam grips her command chair as another volley hammers their hull. I've lost too many patients, Marcus. Not losing any more. Through the comm, Dr. Yuki Tanaka's voice cuts through static. Cameron, we've got Vexus Tani wounded incoming. Physiology's compatible, we can help them. Through the viewport, Cam watches alien escape pods docking with her ship. Her medical teams prepare to save lives of beings who were trying to destroy them minutes ago. Vex Tar's voice, weak, but wondering, Human Commander, why do you shield us? We would have destroyed your vessels to protect this sector. Because you are protecting your people, Cam replies, monitoring his vital signs through the comlink. Same pathology, different treatment approach. The alien commander's ship links with the Hippocrates through emergency docking tubes. Within minutes, Vexitani civilians undergo triage in her medical bay alongside human refugees. Kane's assault intensifies, but now he faces coordinated resistance. Vex-Tar's remaining ships position themselves to protect the medical convoy, while Cam's vessels provide covering fire. This is insane, Kane snarls. You're choosing aliens over your own species. Again. I'm choosing patience over predators, Cam shoots back. Learn the difference. The moment that changes everything comes when Kane's cruiser, engines screaming like a flatlined patient, targets the vaccine storage directly. Not the ship, the medicine itself. All hands, brace for targeted strike, Cam shouts. He's going for the vaccines. Vex-Tar's command ship, engines restored by human engineering crews, interposes itself between Kane's weapons and the medical storage. The blast, meant to destroy 50,000 lives worth of hope, instead cripples the alien vessel that chose to shield it. Kane's cruiser, overcharged from the failed attack, suffers cascade failure and explodes in brilliant fusion fire. In the aftermath, as rescue operations begin, Vex-Tar requests permission to board. Cam meets him in her medical bay, where human and alien staff work side by side interspecies surgical teams in perfect coordination. The Vex-Tani commander's compound eyes take in the scene, shifting through spectrums she's learning to read. He approaches the vaccine storage, where manifests clearly show medical supplies labeled in dozens of languages. These are precisely what you claimed. His translated voice carries something like, or, vaccines for 17 different diseases, treatment protocols for multiple species. Cam nods, applying pressure to a wounded Vexistani's arterial bleeding, including Kethvar plague variants. We hoped to establish medical exchange programs after New Hebron. Vex-Tar examines a vaccine container labeled in his own script alongside human text. You prepared medicine for our people, though we were strangers. Disease doesn't respect borders or species, Cam says. Neither should treatment. She pauses, then adds quietly, I lost my daughter to plague, Commander. Emma, 7 years old, just like this one. She indicates the human girl from earlier, now sleeping peacefully in recovery. She died because medical supplies were delayed by security inspections. I won't let bureaucracy kill anyone else. 3 days later, the convoy resumes its journey with partial Vexistani escort. 2 of Vexistar's ships provide protection, while his medical staff learns human treatment protocols. Not all the alien crew accepted the alliance. Some transferred to other commands rather than work with humans. 20,000 vaccine doses were damaged in the fighting. 45,000 lives instead of 50,000. Victory with real costs. Cam stands in her quarters, looking at a new image on her console herself, and Vex-Tar working together in surgery. Human and alien hands coordinating to save a life, neither could have saved alone. Torres appears at her doorway. "Doc, we're getting word from New Hebron. Vextani medical ships arrived yesterday with additional vaccine supplies." Apparently, Vextar convinced part of his government to contribute to relief efforts. Cam allows herself a careful smile. Patients responding to treatment. Prognosis, cautiously optimistic. Through her viewport, she watches the convoy's new formation. Human medical ships with alien escorts, flying toward a plague-stricken world where hope arrives despite the cost. What started as humanity's last desperate convoy had become the first joint medical mission between species, born from a moment when healing proved stronger than fear, when choosing to save enemies began to transform them into allies. Cam touches the console where Emma's picture still sits, now surrounded by images of the children, human and alien, they've saved together. "We did it, sweetheart." Not all of them, but enough. The ships jumped to hyperspace together, carrying medicine and the fragile promise of a galaxy where compassion might bridge the divide between the stars, one patient at a time.